everybody. Listen, I am so happy that you are here. I am Brittany Benson. I am the founder and CEO of The Branding Bar, and you are watching On the Brand with Brittany B. I think it's important for me to talk to you guys about myself, how I got to where I am, and because I'm 10 years in this, okay? I'm a rookie, yet a vet, okay? Shout out to Drake. But no, seriously, guys, I started my agency back in 2009, and it was just an idea. A little bit about me, I went to North Carolina Central University, shout out NCCU, all my HBCU family, and I majored in mass communications, broadcast media. So being in front of the camera, that is something that I wanted to do. I wanted to be like your next VJ and just have a cool on-camera job, right? And so I did everything I was supposed to do in undergrad. I interned, I worked at BT, I had an internship there in New York. I did a lot of like reality shows. I was a production assistant. I did some PR in the entertainment industry. And so, you know, it was really exciting. You know, it really opened up my eyes to the world of like people living in their dreams and seeing like how their dreams have, you know, come alive, like especially in the entertainment world. And for me, like I never wanted to be famous, but I knew I wanted to help people, okay? And so after I graduated college, I thought I had a job in New York, but it didn't happen. So I moved to Atlanta, Georgia. I always knew I wanted to move to Atlanta. It was something about this city. I would come down here and visit family in middle school, high school, and I just knew I wanted to be here. And so I came to Atlanta. It was a hard time trying to find a job. And so I ended up basically like working at a collection company. And we're gonna get into like why my journey and how these little milestones and details in my life really shaped me and who I am. And so when I moved to Atlanta, I got a collection agency job, commission only, crazy, right? And so I couldn't find a job. I had to do what I had to do. But in the same time, my friend, she enrolled me into a master's program. And so she was like, you need to, you know, come get your master's degree. And so I was like, you know what, I do need the refund check. So it was also a way to kind of like have some income coming in. And so I mastered in marketing, business and marketing management. And so my first assignment was to come up with a business plan for a company. And so I came up with the Branding Bar. And at the time during this year, it was probably like 2009, 2010, and like dry hair bars were like the thing, and like everybody was putting bar behind, you know, their words. And I was like, you know what? And I was reading a lot, studying branding, and I was like, ooh, the Branding Bar, that's cute. So I originally wanted the Branding Bar to be, and now that I think about it in hindsight, like an Etsy, but I did not have the ministry nor skill sets to create a platform. I actually tried to create a platform and started to put people's products on the website, but it just didn't work out. And so I had to come back to the drawing board, okay, which, you know, as entrepreneurs, you probably had to do a couple of times yourself to kind of like, you know, play around with your idea, tweak it some more, right? And so I thought about like, well, what can I do right now within my resources, which is also, we're gonna get into important, because you gotta think about the resources that are around you and the things that are available to you, and not stretch yourself so thin, right? To the point where you don't get anything done. And so that's what I had to do. So I realized that I was really coaching people and consulting people, because when I was in undergrad, like I said, I wanted to be on television. I had created a YouTube back then, and I would interview celebrities, and I had different groups on Facebook. And so I had built community before, and people were always coming to me asking me, well, how did you know this person? How did you get this many people into your group on Facebook? And so that made me realize, like, listen, let me do some consulting work. And so I squashed the Etsy idea. I started to do consulting. At that time, Twitter was out, Instagram hadn't really formed, and I really wasn't really too keen on Twitter. Like, I didn't really feel it like that. It was cool, but I didn't want to focus my attention on Twitter. And so Instagram came, and when Instagram came about, I said, you know what, this is going to be the platform that I build my community on, and I'm gonna focus on growing and showing people what I can do. Because I knew how to build a brand, you know, back when I was in undergrad, but now it was time. I'm a grown adult. Let me figure out what I need to make it happen and have a business, right? And so I went through my grad program, ended up graduating throughout that time. I ended up luckily getting a job at Habitat for Humanity. The headquarters is here in Atlanta, Georgia, and I was working under the director of PR. Shout out to Dwayne. Oh my gosh, I wonder what he's doing these days. But he really took me under his wing, and I helped with, you know, PR, because Habitat for Humanity is a global organization. So, you know, we were doing crisis management, you know, from habitats all over the world. We was monitoring conversations on social media. And so that really intrigued me. Like, you know what? Let me focus on social media and like how to build a brand specifically on Instagram. And so that is what I did, guys. In the beginning, like I said, I knew I had to show up for myself if I was wanting to have a business and have people pay me to do the same thing. Because I knew that in the past, based off people coming to me, asking me how I created communities and how I did, you know, things when I was in undergrad, like I need to do it for myself again on Instagram. And so, you know, I still was trying to find a job, trying to pay my bills. I didn't want to move back home. And it was like, I need to hone in on what I'm doing. And so I started to do some PR work. I did some PR work in Grand Hustle, did some production assistant work in entertainment on some reality shows. And that was cool, but it still wasn't my thing. And so I decided, you know, let me just start doing some freelance work. And so I would reach out to organizations or people that I knew, and I would be like, look, let me manage your social media. And then once again, going back to the resources and the things that I could do, I knew I needed a team, right? And so we're gonna get into like how I built my team, where I found people at, how I structured my company, got pricing, because I did not know what I was doing. And so, but I'm excited. I don't want to give you too much detail of every piece of my journey just yet. We're gonna get into it, but click subscribe, and I'm gonna upload some topics, some specific topics, like how to sell more on Instagram, how to build a brand, how to find vendors, like all of that stuff. So just stick with me. Okay, and you're gonna learn so much more, but I'm excited that you're here, and this is gonna be a good year. We're gonna get you your 6-figure, 7-figure business, okay? All right, I am signing off. Brittany B here with On The Brand.